Well, hello, beautiful ones. It's Stacey here, the head Vixen of the Vixen Academy. And I want to welcome you to my podcast because Vixen Academy is your place for feminine leadership training, but the sassy and provocative way through the divine art of seduction and charisma from the bedroom to the boardroom. So feminine leadership training does not have to be boring at all. And here at Vixen Academy, it surely is not. So I wanted to do this special broadcast or podcast, I should say. I've been wanting to do it for a while because it is a huge lesson that I learned in my digital nomad journey that was instrumental to me manifesting and having my dream become a reality. Now, if this is your first time with me and you are listening to this podcast on YouTube, I invite you to hit the subscribe button as well as like so you can know when I'm producing more of these podcasts. And if you are listening to this on my website, I invite you to leave a comment below of what my musing and my sharing with you, whatever chords that it may hit with you. So as I was saying, in my digital nomad journey, this is really what came to me, that if you want your dream to be a reality, then you have to stop asking for your needs to be met. And I know for many of you, if you've been in my community for a while, you're like, well, wait a minute, Stacey, you've been teaching us how to ask for our needs to be met. What do you mean we now have to stop asking for our needs to be met? And yes, that is correct. You heard me teach that. You've heard me say that for so many years. But after my digital nomad journey of 18 months, you won't be hearing me say that moving forward. And here is why. Because one of the things that my nomad journey had showed me, the reality of our needs getting met, was at times it was very hard for me to see it. And then after really seeing it and really feeling it, I had to acknowledge how, I have been literally, in asking for my needs to be met, actually advocating for just survival, advocating for remaining small. Or, yes, have I manifested things in my life? Oh my goodness, yes, I have. But could I have manifested those things with a little bit more ease and grace? Oh, heck yeah. Yes, 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 I could have. And this is the crux of what this podcast is about. So when I was on my digital nomad journey, I had to, after being in one steady place for a couple of months, for at least for a year, I bounced around from different houses, different setups, East Coast, West Coast, mountain time. I didn't even sometimes know what time zone I was in. So I had to do a lot of shifting, changing, and adjusting. But it wasn't until how would I say this? It wasn't until for about 5-6 weeks that on a daily basis, I was actually seeing and feeling the energy of the homeless population, of men and women who are unhoused. I feel I'm very fortunate that I didn't see any children. I didn't see any homeless teenagers because they are out there as well, right? That would have been even more heart-wrenching for me, especially being a mom. But what happens is when on a daily basis for about 5-6 weeks, every single day seeing a homeless person and feeling their their hopelessness, feeling their despair on a deep level, it was very heart-wrenching for me. And that's when it clicked with me that these people are literally wanting their needs to be met. Because when you look at it, I'm going to review the hierarchy of needs, at least the very first 4. So if you're not familiar with those, you'll get familiar today. And then here's where you will actually see how you maybe have been advocating for your own survival versus thriving. And this is why when I stopped asking for my needs to be met and started doing something instead, which I'm going to share with you, that is when it fast-tracked my dream into reality. And hopefully the same could be done for you. All right. So let's review. I'm going to review with you right now what the hierarchy of needs really is. I'm going to go through the first four. All right. So with the hierarchy of needs, the first one is food. Do you have food that is available to you? Not do you like the food that you have available to you, but do you have food that's available to you, or do you have to rummage through a garbage can in order to get someone else's thrown away trash to find some food for you to eat? So I want you to check that off. Do you have food that you can eat? And I will say that if you're listening to this recording, yes, you do have food on some level that you can eat. All right. The next thing is water. Do you have water to drink? Not if it's distilled water, spring water, bottled water, but do you have water that you can drink? Or do you have to go down after it's been raining, catch some water in a cup from rain, or even worse yet, have to go where the water runoff is and try to drink from there just to quench your thirst? So if you have water you can drink, check that off. All right. The third thing is, do you have shelter? Remember, these are all hierarchy of needs. Okay. So the next, shelter. Do you have some type of shelter over you? Whether it is a house, a bus, even a car, that can be shelter, right? Do you have some place where you know your head is going to rest for that night? Or is your shelter just some street corner and someone's leftover trash may be a pillow for your head? Okay, shelter. Do you have, and also included with your shelter, do you have a place in your shelter that you can go to the bathroom? Because even growing up in New York, I had to pass, men and women who were housing challenged every single day. But I think growing up in New York, I just blocked it out because I saw it every day. I just blocked it out so I can just keep on keeping on with my life. But at this juncture in my life, I could not shut it out. And for the first time in my life, I literally saw grown adults taking a poop in the street in broad daylight because they had no place else to go to the bathroom. Okay. So do you even have a toilet, even if it's a composting toilet, that you can sit your behind on so you can go to the bathroom in your own privacy? Okay. Even an outhouse has some kind of privacy. What I saw was taking an outhouse to a whole new level. Okay. So that was number 3, was shelter. Number 4 was clothing. Do you have clothes on your back? I'm not talking about, is it designer this or whatever, but do you have clothes, basic clothes on your back? And hopefully they can be clean clothes that you have on your back. Because what happens is when it comes to the hierarchy of needs, those are the top 4: food, water, shelter, clothing. So if you have been asking for your needs to be met, what you've been doing is you've been asking for and advocating for just your survival. Just like these homeless people, they want food, water, shelter, clothing. They don't have that, right? And I will say this, after witnessing all this, homelessness is actually probably what made half of them go mentally crazy, because that's what they had to do to be able to survive the circumstances that they found themselves in. And I'm not judging how they got themselves into that situation, because the pandemic was a precursor to get a lot of people into that situation. People complain about, oh my God, they're trash and they're filthy. But guess what? After seeing that every single day, this is what came to me. Why should they care if they throw some trash on your block when they feel that they've been discarded like trash out by society? So why should they care? Why should they care? Right? And so these are the things when I was really in this on a daily basis for like 5-6 weeks, it really put this point into clear focus. And so what happened was I stopped asking for my needs to be met, because what really I desire, and I know what you want, is you want your desires and your dreams to be met. That is what you truly want. Because when you go after your desires and your dreams to be met, you are taking inspired action that fills your body, mind, and your heart with passion, desire, and joy. And you will joyfully go after those things with an open heart, with zest. And even those bumps that you have to experience to get to that dream, they will be worthwhile, because when your dreams are being met, that is when you are thriving and you are no longer surviving. So this is why, if you want your dream to be a reality, stop from this day forward asking for your needs to be met, and instead ask for and take inspired action that allows your desires and your dreams to be met so that you can thrive big in life. All right. And so even seeing this, it had spurred on a different type of advocacy in my life. Right. You know, my daughter in Florida, up until when she was in middle school, going into college, she volunteered at the homeless shelter for all those years. That was her advocacy. And even after what I saw, I said, you know what, that is not my advocacy, but I found out and I discovered what is. And that really is to spreading the message of attainable housing and affordable housing. And that is part of what the Tiny Vixen is here to do, is to show how living tiny can actually allow you to live big, how you can live with luxury for less, how you can allow, through mystic design, use your home as a 3D vision board to produce love, passion, and prosperity in your life. And so it spurred on that advocacy to really thrive and go after things, because when I started really focusing on just the joy of my dream and the joy of my desires, it fast-tracked everything to happen. From that stall I was experiencing with my first builder, to firing the first builder, going with my second builder, and boom, in lightning speed, bam, my dream became a reality. And this is what it brings me joy, that this being my first podcast, that I'm sharing with you in my new space, in the Tiny Vixen, in my sanctuary. So I want you to do these 3 things so you can start to shift your mindset from asking for your needs to be met to now inspiring your dreams and your desires to be met and be a reality. So here's the first thing that I want you to do. The first thing I want you to do is to humble yourself and spend a day observing without judgment those who are unhoused. So unfortunately, the place that you're going to see this the most, if you have to go into whatever downtown area you are in your area, major area. And it's not that, you know, out in the suburbs or in the country, you're not going to see any unhoused or homeless people, because they exist there too. It is just in a city, in a metropolitan area, because of the massive amounts of people, you will just actually see more. And so that's what I want you to do. I want your senses to be inundated with this visual, and I want you to observe without judgment what these people have to go to just to get their needs met. Okay. Then the second thing I want you to do is, with an open heart and on a daily basis, I want you to show genuine appreciation for what you do have, and to acknowledge that your needs are being met. Because when you have gratitude and you acknowledge that your needs are being met, the universe will give you more of that. So your survival will always be taken care of. So you don't have to worry about your survival, because you are appreciating what you have right now. So the universe will continue doing that for you. And so from that place of gratitude, you're then able to step into number 3, the final piece of this, which is, by being relaxed, knowing that your needs are being met, this now frees up your mind and your heart from being in survival mode. So now you can focus on your dream. and your dreams and the empowered action and the steps that you need to take in order for them to become a reality. And so this is why I teach mystic design, so you can use your home in which to do that, right? And so when you're doing that, doing these three things, really observing those that really need their needs met. Number two, being appreciative and grateful that your needs are being met, which then leads to three, freeing your mind to focus on your dreams. And when you do that, I want you to see what shifts occur in your life. What synchronicities come up in your life? I want you to see, do things seem a little bit easier for you? And some of that sabotage has gone away. So that is what I want you to observe. All right. So I want you to take those steps. And so if you enjoyed this wisdom and musing from Stacey in this podcast, I want you to go ahead. Like I said, if you are on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe below and share a comment below and share this channel with your friends. And if you're listening to this on my website, go ahead and share a comment of, just tell me, what did this spur within you? And what may it shift within you so that you can start asking for your desires and your dreams to be met so they can become a reality. And with that, everyone, we are complete, and namaste.